Welcome to Parenting Your Sensitive Child. Parenting a highly sensitive child can feel overwhelming, and all the parenting books in the world can only get you so far if your head and your heart are out of alignment with your child's. I'm your host, Julia McGarry. Let's create a new parenting paradigm. Hey y'all, we made it to 2024. And since this is a time of reflection this time of year for so many people, it seems fitting to me to offer my own reflections, my own lessons learned over the past year of life with my daughter, who turns 9 in less than 2 weeks. I hope this episode finds you in a hopeful place, an introspective place. I hope you've been able to take some time to reflect for yourself, and that you're stepping into 2024 with a focus on what's possible for you and your children in the days ahead. And if you're not there yet, I hope that this podcast gives you a reminder to pause and consider what life with your child could look like, what could be possible for you and for your family. What do you want to create or call in this year? Take some time with those questions and just know, once you've let them settle, my role as a coach is to combine forces with you and facilitate you turning those possibilities into reality. Whether you want to feel less stressed, yell less, cultivate a deeper connection with your child, or make a big change in your day-to-day life, I'm your co-conspirator, your coach, and I'm ready to help you create the change you seek. I did take a little break over the past couple weeks, but my calendar's open again for consults. All you have to do is go to my website, juliamcgarry.com, click on coaching, and schedule. We'll meet for an hour via Zoom and talk through your vision, what's keeping you stuck, and what your next steps might be. Even if your next steps don't involve coaching together, I want to help you figure out what is next and help you get oriented toward that, no matter what it is. Okay, so pause the podcast, go to my website, there's a link in the show notes, and get on the schedule. All right, that said, reflection is such an important part of any personal growth journey. And I want to share my reflections from the past year with you. We've had a lot of ups and downs this year. Our biggest challenges in retrospect have been breaking through negativity bias and navigating social dynamics, navigating evolving friendships. Both of these things have created a lot of stress in our lives and have led to a lot of resistance and a big attachment to personal time, or really just time at home in general. So, without diving too deep into the details, here are some of my takeaways from this season of life. Number 1, reducing demands is incredibly powerful. If you are at all familiar with PDA profile autism, you've probably encountered the idea of low demand parenting. It's almost essential for PDAers, but it's helpful for any kid that's having a hard time. This is actually something that I've been advocating for years without a name to put to it. But I think having the name is really helpful because it goes beyond creating space for them to decompress. It gives you something specific to pay attention to: demands. And since we're living in a world that insists that children develop independence, and if they're struggling, they need to develop coping skills, our kids' lives are full of demands. And even if you can't create more space in their schedule for downtime, you can reduce the number of demands you're placing on them. You can carry their backpack to the car after a long day. You can let them skip a bath. You can overlook it when they forget to say please. Dropping demands is simple, but it's not actually easy. It's a surprisingly counterculture move. And when we try to break free from our cultural programming, we often encounter a lot of resistance from ourselves and from others. You might encounter thoughts like, they need to honor their commitments, or they need to develop resilience, or maybe if they can't handle this, the real world's going to eat them alive. The one I catch myself on most often is, this is her responsibility. I went to a Montessori school and there was a lot of emphasis placed on responsibility. This year, I've learned to recognize that thought when it comes up and remind myself that this is also something I can do to show that I care. Grabbing her backpack from the car occasionally doesn't mean I'm giving up on her or not holding her to appropriate standards. It means that I'm consciously rejecting the idea that doing something for a child that they can do themselves is universally harmful. It's not. Sometimes it's incredibly helpful. And just because you pick up the backpack today doesn't mean that they won't do it tomorrow. Dropping demands today doesn't mean you drop them forever. You can continue to encourage, to ask, and decide on a day-to-day basis whether the demand is worth upholding or not. You can let them skip a bath tonight without making it mean that they'll never bathe again. And that actually leads quite nicely into my second lesson. Don't take their words at face value. This is easy enough to see when they're toddlers and they're screaming, I hate you. They really just mean I'm mad at you. But as they get older, we tend to take them more seriously. And when we hear them say, I don't want to do karate anymore, or we hear them say, you're the worst, we assume that they mean what they say. And if you're dropping demands, you might think, oh, I should just let them quit. My experiences this year have reinforced in my mind that this is actually not the best approach. As they get older, it continues to be of value to look beyond what they're saying on the surface and get curious about what's going on beneath that. This allows you to be a little less reactive and to actually help them solve the real problem. It also gives you a chance to keep asking and keep offering. If you ask if they want to go on a hike and they say, I hate hiking, there's a chance that you'll stop asking if you don't look beyond the surface of their words. Trying to figure out what they actually mean or what the actual problem is, instead of writing it off completely, creates the possibility or the mental space to ask again in the future. And I think that's actually lesson number 3. Keep asking. This is important. Think of it this way. Every time you ask them, it shows them you're thinking of them, that you value spending time with them, that you're still there, even if they say no over and over again. Continuing to invite them does a lot for their sense of stability and trust. Now, there's obviously the chance that they really do have no interest in hiking. I'm not saying you ask them daily or weekly, but if you're going to go out for a hike, ask them if they want to join. Respect their answer, and then keep looking for other activities that you might enjoy together. Lesson number 4, they want to figure this out. Through all of our ups and downs this year, one thing that stands out to me about my daughter, she wants to figure it out. Well, at first she wants to run away from the problems. But when we look beyond that, She really does want to have the skills to solve her problems herself. She doesn't want to be lectured or told what to do. She wants to be listened to and then to be pointed in the right direction when she's ready. At this age, she's very open to reading books about what's challenging for her or getting advice from professionals. I mean, age appropriate advice. There's a lot out there that she sees as too babyish, but she's open to getting help and to trying to figure out how to build the skills she needs, how to solve the problems that she's facing. In that same vein, lesson number 5 for me is about the value of calling in other adults. Being validated and supported by other adults that they respect can help them latch on to what we've been trying to tell them. You know how sometimes you need to hear it from an outside source in order for it to really sink in? It's the same sort of thing. And calling in an outside person, calling in another adult, takes some of the weight off of your shoulders. We've talked to grandparents, parents of friends, and we're looking into coaching because she wants to build her skills. And sometimes it lands better if it's not coming from me. All right. Lesson number 6, my final lesson from year 9, is that easy isn't the goal. This past fall, the fall of 2023, was not an easy time for me as a parent. And there were moments where I questioned my career choice. You know, that inner voice that whispers, who am I to be helping other people with this when I'm struggling myself? Those moments, though, helped me remember that the goal is never for things to be easy or without friction. Life is 50-50, good and bad, ups and downs. The goal is to meet the challenges skillfully. And I can say that even when I was feeling overwhelmed, even when I was stressed, I didn't feel lost. My stress management skills and my parenting skills were put to the test, but I felt a certain steadiness because of my skills. I may have been at sea in a storm, but I knew which ropes to pull, and my hands were steady. I knew how to see us through. Was it easy? No. But I wasn't lost or overcome either. And now, here we are. A new year, a new school term. I'm ready to face whatever's next. I hope you're feeling a little spark of readiness too. Do you feel like you're parenting 24/7 and you're still not sure your child is getting what they need? Are you ready to stop parenting reactively and start living in partnership with your sensitive child? Are you ready to reclaim time for yourself and time for your dreams? Then you're going to want to explore coaching with me. I help my clients tune out all the noise, better understand their kids, build a parenting strategy that meets their family's specific needs, and do the mindset work necessary to implement that strategy consistently without sacrificing themselves in the process. To get started, just head over to partnerpath.com, click on coaching, and get your free consultation set up. Let's get to know each other.